Trapping plays a very important role in modern-day wildlife management. Professional wildlife biologists monitor fur-bearer populations to maintain a healthy and sustainable harvest of this important, renewable natural resource. Trapping provides recreation and income for licensed trappers across this country. Who's Your Trapper Outdoors is brought to you by Who's Your Trapper Supply. J3 Outdoors, manufacturer of the Hag Bracket and Body Trap Spring Clip. Leatherwood Creek Trapping Scents, Who's Your Trapper Deer Scents, and Leatherwood Wildlife Art.
Okay, welcome to episode 10, season 10, Who's Your Trapper Outdoors. On this episode, we will wrap up our Arkansas trip, last day pulling traps, etc. So hope you enjoy that. We will have the next episode after that will be a South Carolina trip. It's only going to be one episode. It was marginally successful, let's put it that way. So kind of a tough trip. Then we'll start our semi-live for the rest of the season for Who's Your Trapper Outdoors. So a couple things I want to mention. I want to mention the photo contest. All the details are on the home page of the website. There is the details of the contest, what you can potentially win. Also, there is a specific email on there that we want you to submit your photos through. So, very important. We had to avoid confusion. So, appreciate everybody taking a look at that email on there. It's on the homepage of the website. I want to thank everybody for the orders, stopping by the shop, whether it be on orders placed online or over the phone. We sure appreciate it. That's what, after all, what keeps all this going. We're just a small family business, so we really appreciate everybody's support. I want to mention the podcast, Trap House Podcast. Be sure to watch for that. The show comes out on Friday. It's every other week. Who's Your Trapper Outdoors, and then the podcast is the other week in there. So we have something going every week throughout the season. So be sure to check out the podcast. I think that's it. Hope you enjoyed the episode. Check day 9, final day. We're pulling traps. So far haven't caught anything. We haven't checked that many yet, but see how the rest of the day plays out. Like I said yesterday, this is the holiday, so the offices aren't open. We got to get the cats tagged, so we'll get traps pulled, travel to the eastern side of Arkansas, and get the cats tagged tomorrow morning, and then we can head on home. So that's where we're at right now. Keep you posted for the rest of the day. Hopefully things pick up in terms of catch. We'll see how it goes.
It's the spot we caught 2 coons at. Gotta keep the dirty traps separate from the clean traps so we can reuse the clean traps on the trip we're getting ready to take within just a few weeks. So anything to minimize the cleanup after this trip to help speed up the process, we'll do it. All right, check day 9. We did it.
Yep. Cat number 9.
9 on the 9th day. Averaged a cat a day. We beat our all-time personal record of 8 on a trip. So we're thrilled.
We're only about halfway through the line, so maybe we'll catch another one.
Yeah. And I was saying earlier in the week that this is by far one of my favorite spots in here because we always are consistent in catching stuff on both sides of the road. Charlie had 2 coyotes down here?
Actually, a coyote here,
coyote
and a
here,
down there.
Coyote down here, now the bobcat here. Then this is the only spot that we actually pit 4 traps at, actually. So when we pull over, we got 2 down this way and 2 down the other way. So we have faith in it, so we set it a little heavier than most. Set was right here, right in front of this big old rock. Dirt hole is right here. There's some black gold and jet fuel smeared on that stick there. That's kind of the beauty of having the coloration of the blue. I can remember exactly what it was. Bobcat urine on the rock did the job, so pretty pumped up about it.
Yep.
Take care of this one and move on down the line.
All right. Pulling traps. We're doing a couple things to save a lot of time on the other end when we get home. So we're wrapping our drags. We're going ahead and taking the trap off the drag. That's the beauty of these split rings, they make things so versatile. And the traps that are dirty don't go in the box, they go on the side, so we can work on those before we go on the next trip. And the traps that did not catch can go in the box, and we'll use those again. This is trap right here. We didn't have the set was messed with, and the trap never fired. Well, evidently in the process of bedding the trap, you can see this, everything's just solid gravel around here. Some of this is dumped gravel by the Forest Service, but a lot of it's not, because I mean, as you can see, everything's just solid rock. So evidently just a little miniature rock got underneath the pan, so that set that was messed with, it couldn't catch if it wanted to, and it sure possibly could have. So just, you know, bear that in mind. It can happen to anybody, but and obviously you want to try to avoid that happening. But anyways, that trap basically completely out of service. So we've got about half the line yet to check. We'll see how things play out.
That is a big one.
All right, check day 9. This set caught the bobcat, I don't remember which day, and we hadn't set this particular road up for quite some time. So caught the cat, and on this last day we caught a coyote. And I'm not surprised, because there were coyote tracks. There were one set of fresh coyote tracks on there. Cool it. So anyways, good location. We won't drive it by in the past. One thing on this location here is it's super wet, and it drains all the water down this hill. So in the past we did not set it because of just so much mud and standing water. So
Just wasn't pleasant.
yeah. Top dog, finicky feline, bobcat urine, and just a drop a long distance. I mean, just a drop. So
The end has come. Successful trip, Charlie.
Yep. Check day 9. Pulled traps. Took a while because we were taking the time to put them back in the truck properly. So, which saves a bunch of time on the other end.
Yeah.
So great trip.
Today the catch was slow. Obviously we only caught 3 animals, but like I said, overall I'd say it was a successful trip. Good times. We had good weather this time. I felt like I redeemed myself from last trip down here because I showed up late because of funeral, and they already had a bunch of the traps already out, so I was playing catch up. And of course we got rained out in Tennessee, so I feel rejuvenated.
Yep. Justin was really slamming the cats, that's for sure, on this trip. So trip totals 9 cats, which is the best we've ever done on a trip.
New record.
Yeah. 18 coyotes, 3 gray foxes, which are definitely down 2 years in a row now. So we had a few sets that were probably messed with grays that that we didn't catch. And then
4 coons and a possum.
yep.
So yeah, it was a good trip. We didn't have too much of that trap stuff being flipped off and all that.
We had very little of that, actually.
Very little of that. I feel like most of the visits that we got, we ended up connecting on. So
Yeah, very high percentage of catch. So not in terms of number of traps, but in terms of just very few misses. Let's put it that way. So.
Right. So we're gonna head out of here. We got a 3-hour ride, 3.5-hour ride. Stay in the town, wait till tomorrow, and get our cats tagged so we can leave the state.
Right.
And then it's on to the next trip.
Yep. Which sounds like it's gonna be South Carolina. So, that's completely new. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, something new, something different. So going in blind, that's what we like. So
And we got some stuff in the works for next year that hopefully pans out. So look excited about the prospects of that. For technically it would be 2022. So, anyways.
thanks for joining us.
One more thing.
What?
There will be a podcast on this trip.
Yes.
And it will be released long before this comes out. But if you look at...
If you're watching this now, backtrack through the Trap House podcast on any streaming platform that's out there, or even on our Facebook page. You can find that, and we're going to talk about this trip in detail. So, yeah, find us.
That would be like January 2021, most likely, when that gets released. Right?
Yes.
Okay.
He's making it confusing with all the numbers.
Yeah.
If you're watching this now, that means that it's out there somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, let's move out.
Yep. Had a good time.
Hags Trapping Products by J3 Outdoors, the most versatile and efficient trapping devices on the market.
Top Dog Predator Bait. Success speaks for itself.
Okay. We have a special bundle for trappers, for more outdoorsmen. For a Christmas gift, we are offering our long sleeve t-shirts. And these are, you have your choice of this being in either blue or green, like I'm holding. One of our travel mugs for both hot and cold. One of our window decals. And one of our stocking caps. The information's on the website. You're going to save some money. It's almost a $7 savings. So pretty decent savings if you get this bundle, special bundle for Christmas. We're not going to hold this up for very long. It's only going to be up for about 3 weeks. So this is or while supplies last. This is strictly a Christmas offer for this season. So if you're interested in that, check the website out, or just give us a call on the phone. We'll be glad to take your order. All right, Q&A. So last Friday we put up a set, a triangle set on our how-to section on our YouTube page, and it's basically a variation of a flat set. And you make 3 small holes, put your attractant in there. The trap is in the center, and we actually push the holes back shut. The animal can easily smell that lure and bait, through that ground, even though it is covered up. Somebody want to know why we covered them up. You could leave them open if you want to. I think it's just more of a flat set without the hole. And it basically just looks like the grade of the ground with that trap blended in the center of those 3 holes. So we're not trying to call necessarily a visual attention to the set. It's more they're smelling it and they're going to be curious about it. So, but you can leave them open if you would like. That's fine. You probably want to make them a little bit deeper if you're going to do that. But that kind of changes the idea of the set. So we do cover the sets up, and we're relying strictly off of the scent attracting the animal, which they can easily smell through that covered up dirt, versus the visual effect of a set. So that's kind of the answer behind that. So if you haven't checked out the how-to section on our YouTube page, be sure to check that out if you need quick reference for whatever, how to skin a muskrat to making wax dirt to how to whatever, make a dirt hole set. Another question we had. So this is a question and some comment. So we had a question about how to get the cable stakes out of the ground. A lot of times, to be honest, if we are in a hurry, we cut them. So we're using the inexpensive Berkshires, and we actually cut them and leave that part in the ground. It's not going to hurt a thing. If you are using Berkshires or higher end stakes that cost more, definitely want to get them out of the ground. You can pry them out. We sell stake pullers. You can go to the hardware store and get a big crowbar, use them out to pry them out of the ground. You can use a tile spade and just go straight down parallel to your cable or chain. Go all the way in, wobble it back and forth. You may have to go to the other side and do the same thing, and a lot of times they'll just pull right out like that. It is tough to get them out of the ground, and that's part of the advantage of them. They're really good insurance that that once that thing's staked, it's not going anywhere. But the challenge is then getting them out of the ground. So for those of you that are hooking them up to four-wheelers and that kind of thing, and pulling them out of the ground, just be really careful with that. There's a couple things. One, guys have told me that they've had hardware break and go whizzing by their head, stuff like that, because you're putting a tremendous amount of pressure or torque against that stake. Sometimes the hardware will fail before the stake will come out of the ground, depending on the ground conditions. So be very careful with that. If you are doing that, you are probably compromising the hardware, the cable, or potentially the chain. Ultimately the stuff is made to hold the animal. It's not made to hold four-wheelers and that kind of thing. So clearly we're not holding the four-wheeler, but it's pulling it out, but it's not made to take that kind of pressure. So be sure, if you are doing that, to examine your hardware, examine your cable, examine your chain, all of that. If you are putting that kind of pressure on a cable stake, it is very possible that the loop at the end, you're crimping that, and that's going to compromise that as well. So sometimes trying to save that stake, you're creating quite a bit of damage to that stake. So just be really careful with that. With that being said, it is always a good idea to continually examine your hardware on your traps, whether you're using split rings, quick links, any of that kind of stuff. You need to examine. The quick links, they can, even though they get gummed up and they're hard to open that little sleeve, the threaded sleeve, they can still, sometimes they'll get open and then they get locked in an open position. So you got to be careful with that. Be sure to check the rivets on your chains that are by your swivels. All of those things need to be periodically checked. And if after you make a catch, it's a good idea to maybe to give it a quick look then. Definitely after you're using those stake pullers, four-wheelers, and whatever else you're using, trying to get those stakes out of the ground. So just a good idea to always keep a visual on that, and you'll avoid a lot of headaches in the future. So keep those questions coming. We appreciate it, and we'll catch you on the next one.
All right, I hope everyone enjoyed the episode. Real quick, we got the new catalogs out, sharp looking. You can get one of these if you request one on our website, HoosierTrapperSupply.com, or you could even call the number below here. If you've placed an order recently, you're already on the list. You'll get one with your order, or if you're on the mailing list, you'll get one. So keep that in mind. Also, please follow us on social media. We're on Facebook, Instagram, of course YouTube. Subscribe, share, do all that good stuff to support us. And don't forget about the Trap House podcast. And we'll see you next time.
Join us on December 24th for the next episode of Who's Your Trapper Outdoors.